Assalamu alaikum students. Good morning. My name is Asif and I am back with the lecture number 4. Today we are having the topic lines from the Samson Agonistes. First we talk about the introduction to the poet. The poet is John Milton. He was born in 1608 in London. He is a poet and a historian, belongs to the Puritan age. What is Puritan age? There were some people in 17th century who used to believe that they are superior to Catholics, and because they had different beliefs than Catholics, so that is why they followed the old principles of Christianity, and they thought that by doing this they are pure, and they called themselves the Puritans. That is why, due to this fact, we call also this age Puritans. So he belongs to the Puritan age, best known for Paradise Lost. This is the book in which the story of Adam and Eve includes. Wrote poetry both in English and Latin language, as most of you know that before English there were Latin and Greek in England. Died in 1674. Now we are moving towards the introduction to the poem. The poem is basically a long poem, but we have some lines from that long poem. Lines from the Samson Agonist. Whenever you see the title as written in lines, the lines means that we are going to study few lines from the whole extract. We are not going to study the complete text. So lines taken from a play. This is basically a play, not a poem. And the poem is taken from, the lines of the poem taken from the play Samson Agonistes, that was written by John Milton. Written in blank verse, it has no rhyming. Published in 1671, that was the year when Milton was not only working on Samson Agonistes, but besides Samson Agonistes, he was also working on Paradise Lost. If we talk about the hero of the story, hero is Samson. The name is mentioned over here. Samson is the hero of the story, and the hero Samson was deceived by Delilah. Who was Delilah? Delilah was a woman sent by the sent by the king of their enemies. And who were enemies? The enemies were Philistines. They sent a lady to Samson to capture Samson. So that is why Delilah played a main role, and by the treachery of Delilah, they made Samson into the prison. These ending lines, because we are having ending lines, not opening or middle, we are having ending lines, and what we are going to study in the ending lines, we are going to study in the ending lines the death of Samson, how he died. We are going to study in this poem. Theme is heroism. What is heroism? Heroism means when a person saves one's life without taking care of his own life is called heroism, and that is the person is called hero. And we are going to study with the theme, this poem with the theme of heroism. Let's begin with the background. I am going to tell you a few points of the background so that you may study all the concept of poem very clearly. So let me start with the background. What is the background? There are two countries, both are enemies to each other. Samson lives in Israel and their enemies are Philistines. Philistines attacked many times, and because Samson was a wrestler and a brave person and a warrior, and not only he was a wrestler or warrior, he had superficial power. What is superficial power? Superficial power is called not from worldly power but from heaven's power. Heaven means he has got the power from heaven. That is called superficial power. So Samson was a wrestler, a warrior, and he had great strength that was gifted by the god, as believed in Greek mythology. So he was gifted a great strength. Due to great strength, by using his strength, he defended his country many times. and Philistines failed all the time. Finally, they realized that Samson is a barrier before their victory, and they cannot take him aside unless they do not make a great plan. So they hatched a plan, and they sent a lady to perform and to deceive Samson and to put Samson into prison and to make Samson weak. So as the plan was decided, Delilah came to Samson, and she pretended that she was in love with Samson, and Samson, by the treachery of Delilah, fell into the love of Delilah, and they both get married. After a few days, as Delilah was performing her role as a preacher, she asked many times about the secret of Samson. Samson denied first, but very soon, on many times, as Delilah was asking again and again, Samson was forced by the Delilah to tell her the secret of his strength. Finally, Samson reveals his secret, that the secret of his strength lies in his hair, in his long hairs. So one day, when Samson was sleeping, Delilah calls a barber, and barber comes and cuts down his long hairs. And when Samson gets up, he finds Delilah has left, and he got all his long hair cut down. So he realized that he has been deceived. And what to do? He has nothing to do. As he was thinking, there came some soldiers from Philistines. They arrested him, and they took him to the Gaza in the city of Philistine, and they made him a prisoner. And after a few days, there was a big incident happened with Samson. The cruel enemy took out the eyes of Samson, because they wanted him not only weak, but they wanted to show Samson as a symbol of their power, that how the powerful Philistines government and Philistines king is. So everyone happened what they had decided before. So they wanted to now celebrate a feast, a party. So they called all the members for a party, and the party was decided. On the day the party was decided, Samson was asked to perform some feats in front of all those members who were from the city of Gaza and the country of Philistines. They included priests, religious persons, businessmen, and politicians, and the gentry. We can say that there was a gentry from Philistine and Gaza. As the gentry was there, and the king decided to celebrate the party, and the party started, the king orders the soldiers to bring Samson in front of those people, so that he may show all the people that how powerful they were. And they called Samson in front of those people. What happened then? Samson came over there, and he was imprisoned, and obviously he had no eyes, and he was so weak. So whatever the orders were imposed by the king, he had to perform. He had no any other option. But why, if he was so weak, why king wanted to perform some tricks? Because they wanted to make a joke of Samson. They wanted to mock at him, because they were celebrating, and they had known that he has become blind, and he was no more to perform some tricks. But they wanted to mock at him. That is why they wanted to laugh at him. So that is why they called to perform. They ordered Samson to perform some tricks. But what happened then? Samson performed all the tricks bravely, and they were surprised. But after performing tricks, he requested the soldiers that to take him to between the pillars. And when the soldiers took him from the stage between the and to the stage to the pillars, and when he realized that he is between the pillars. And what are the pillars? I have said 3 times that pillars, pillars, pillars. What are the pillars? Pillars are the main points of the story, and this is the climax. The pillars were the pillars that were connected with the roof, that were the main support to the great palace where the people were celebrating the party, and the cruel Philistine king was over there. When Samson reached over there, Samson realized that this was the only time for him that can save his people from the cruelty of Philistines. So what he could do so at that time, he decided something revolved in his mind, but what was revolving, no had an idea. After a few times, as time passed away, and he stood up. He stood up, but he is standing between the pillars, and the pillars were massive, big and strong. He shouted and said that he had performed many tricks because he was ordered to perform some tricks, but now he wanted to show his own great strength. Everyone was very surprised that what he was going to perform, because he had no eyes and he has no great strength like before. So everyone started laughing, and the king was too mocking and laughing at him, but he did not pay attention to anyone, and he put his both hands onto the big pillars, and everyone was surprising that what he was going to do, and it was not more than a joke for them. So he started applying the force of his strength onto the 2 massive pillars. As he applied the force and he shook and he jerked the pillars, after a little while, unfortunately, or we can say fortunately, the roof, the great roof of the great palace fell down. Oh, what happened then? The roof fell down. When the roof fell down, everyone over there came to death. Everyone over there closed their lives. And what about Samson? Samson also lost his life. By doing this, he was also in the palace. He also died. So why he did so? The story ends here. Now the question is, I told you the story of the play, that how happened it and what was the story. But why did he do so? Because Samson knew that there was no one who was going to save Samson's people from the cruelty of Philistines. And Philistines not only wanted to make slave Samson's people, but they wanted to convert Samson's people's religion into their religion. So this was the thing that was disturbing and causing a terrible thing for the Samson. So Samson decided, when he inclined between the pillars, something he was thinking. He was thinking that that was the only time to do something. If he did not do so, there would be no one who would be going to save their people's life. So he stood up and decided to sacrifice his life, and not only decided, but he sacrificed his life. And he sacrificed his life only for the sake of his people. And he did so, and he took the revenge from the Philistines, the cruel enemies and the cruel king. And not only he took the revenge, but also he saved from the cruelty of Philistines, because after the death of Samson, the next step that the Philistines were going to do, they were going to make all the nation of Samson as a slave. They were going to put into slavery the Samson's nation, and the Samson had already that idea. So this is how the story ends, and the important question, let me tell you the important question that comes again and again, that has been coming again and again for the 20 years, last 20 years. And the question is, the first question is, please you may note down the question: how did Samson save his people? And this question also comes in another words like, how did Samson destroy the great hall? This is the key question of this point. I will back with the lecture number 5 inshallah very soon. Till then, take care, goodbye. If you have any question or query, you put your question in the WhatsApp group or Facebook group. Take care. I will see you very soon. Till then, take care, goodbye, Allah Hafiz.